हेलो वेरी गुड मॉर्निंग वेलकम टू टेस्टबुक सुपर कोचिंग फॉर रेगुलेटरी बॉडीज एंड आज के इस करंट अफेयर्स के सेशन में आप सबका स्वागत है। वी आर गोइंग टू डिस्कस इंपॉर्टेंट करंट अफेयर्स फोकसिंग स्पेशली ऑन द बैंकिंग फाइनेंस एंड द इकोनॉमिक सेक्शन। उन सेक्शंस के ऊपर फोकस करते हुए इन करंट अफेयर्स को हम लोग आज के इस सेशन में कवर करेंगे। द मेजर पार्ट विच वी आर गोइंग टू कवर टुडे इज अबाउट द एमसीक्यूज डिपेंडिंग ऑन द current affairs news, and afterwards we will talk about some important articles from the newspapers. So what kind of financial economical news are going on, and other than that some selections, some appointments which we are going to discuss in today's session. So I will start with the session. Once again, very good morning to all of you and Merry Christmas. Yes, before going to start the session, we have the Lux 2.0 batch for the RBI Grade B Foundation. So if you are interested to be the part of this batch, आप इसमें enroll कर सकते हैं for the phase 1, phase 2 as well as for the interview. All three things which we are covering in this particular batch. This is the Telegram channel from where you can access to our give me one thing, I'm audible to all properly? Is there any issue with the audio and video? If it is there, so please let me know in the comment section. Then we'll move forward. Okay. The first question on your screen. HDFC Securities projects that India's GDP would moderate to. So according to the HDFC Securities, what will be India's GDP? That's the question here. Yes, guys. Can you give me the answer of this question? What will be India's GDP as per HDFC Securities? Last time we discussed about the RBI's number. RBI through the monetary policy mentioned that 6.6% will be India's GDP, and the reasons behind that we already know about. Now, according to HDFC, India's GDP will be 6.4% for 24-25. So 6.4% is a projection given by the HDFC Security. After the number of second quarter के numbers के बाद many things change for the country. Many predictions of the Indian GDP change, and that is the example we have in front of us. So the discussion done by the HDFC Security, they are expecting that 6.4%. Earlier they were talking about that India will grow with up to 7%, but now it is being reduced to 6.4%. Now, according to HDFC Security, 25-26 India's growth expectation is 6.7%. So that is also moderated, also reduced by this particular institution. I'll go to the next question. Which meeting of the GST Council took place at Jaisalmer, Rajasthan on the 21st of December 2024? So it's a very easy question. GST Council is a constitutional authority under Article number 279A of Indian Constitution. It consists of three types of members. The first is Indian Finance Minister, second the Deputy Finance Minister, and the third the all finance ministers of the states. So all together they worked in this GST Council regarding which kind of commodities or services should be the part of GST, how much percent of GST we should implement, etc. So recently the 55th meeting of the GST Council was organized in Jaisalmer, and after that meeting, what are the decisions taken by the GST Council become very, very controversial, especially reselling of the vehicles. Popcorn is one of the hot topic these days when it comes to the social media, memes and etc. So Jaisalmer and the 55th meeting, article number 279A. The one news regarding this particular GST Council meeting we are going to discuss in today's session. Now we were expecting some decision around insurance premium and the taxes on them, but there was no decision around that. Let's hope for the better decision around GST on insurance premiums in the next GST Council meeting. We'll go to the next question. All India CPI agriculture labor and the rural labor has shown an increase of how much points each? These numbers, this consumer price index numbers for agriculture labor as well as rural labor is given by Labor and Employment Ministry. Dr. Mansukh Mandviya is the minister right now. So under his ministry, this data is being given. CPI combined, CPI urban, CPI rural. These are the numbers given by the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. Rao Indrajit Singh sir is the minister of that ministry. Now the answer is 5 pointers. So when it comes to agriculture as well as rural labor, there is an increase. There is a kind of a good sign. So 1320 and 1331 respectively, these are the numbers. So 5 points each increase mentioned over here. If we'll talk about the percentage, so agriculture labor and the rural labor, 7.37 and 7.13. Now these numbers of rural labor as well as agriculture labors, these numbers are really very important for fixing the wages, especially NAREGA wages, as well as considering the salaries as well as the wages given to the rural people or the rural labor or the employment, and that is a major factor over here. Recently, this concept was news due to the NAREGA wages, because NAREGA wages should be linked with the CPI rural rather than the CPI the rural labor. So that was one of the recommendation given under the NAREGA committee. Now next, how much loan has been signed by Government of India and the Asian Development Bank on the 20th of December to support green sustainable infrastructure projects with the India's climate commitment? ADB, Asian Development Bank. So another loan agreement we signed with the Asian Development Bank, and this loan amount is of $500 million, and this loan amount should be in the hands of India Infrastructure Finance Company Limited. IIFCL is going to handle this amount. The money will be used for the climate-oriented infrastructure development, environment-friendly infrastructure development, and sovereign guarantee will be given for this loan that was mentioned by the Government of India through PIB, through Press Information Bureau. Yes, in 1966, we created Asian Development Bank. Manila mein headquarter hai, 69 member countries. Recently, Israel become the member of Asian Development Bank, and Masato Kanda is become the new president of this institution, which we all know about. Which of the following bank has become the come with the Times Internet to launch premium metal credit card? We discussed about this in the last session. We talked about this. Such kind of questions they do ask in the phase 1 exam. That's why we need to work on these questions. But do not give the priority to such kind of news. Your priority should be majorly focusing on the RBI oriented or the government policy oriented news. Yes, answer of this question is ICICI Bank. So A is the answer of this question when it comes to these credit cards. So Times Black ICICI Bank credit card, mostly for the high net worth individual, this being created. We'll go to the next question. MSP for mailing copra has been fixed at 11,582 per quintal, and for ball copra at how much per quintal in 2025 season? Copra is basically dry coconut, and for the dry coconut we have MSP, minimum support price. It is a part of commercial crop, basically not the Rabi and Kharif. It's a part of commercial crop. MSP, minimum support price, we have MSP considered for 22 plus 1 crops in India. One is FRP, 22 is focusing on the MSP. So answer of this question is 12,100 per quintal is the MSP for the ball copra mentioned by the cabinet ministry, जिन्होंने recently ये decision लिया हुआ है. We'll go to the next part and the next thing. Remember one thing, Cabinet Committee of Economic Affairs is the decision-making authority when it comes to these MSP concepts. So ये एक important factor हमारे लिए रहेगा. By the way, Karnataka is the highest coconut producing state in the country, which we have discussed last time. As per the India State for Forest report, India's total forest and tree cover is of how much total geographical area? We discussed this. We know about this. We talked about this in one of our sessions. इसका पूरा detailing भी हमने discuss किया हुआ है. So can you give me the answer of this question? Yes, answer is 25.17%. So forest cover, when it comes to the forest cover, so the major focus is on the forest cover, and then the tree cover 3% के आसपास tree cover हमारा है. The highest increase is in Chhattisgarh. The biggest forest area is in Madhya Pradesh. If we'll talk about the geographical discussion, then we already know that the Mizoram, Gujarat, Odisha, they are performing really very well when it comes to these things. Okay, so 25.17% is the India's geographical. 2 साल में एक बार ये रिपोर्ट आता है. The report is presented by our Environment Minister Bhupendra Yadav sir in Dehradun. That is another important concept. Center said that Indian pharma sector is recognized as the which number the largest globally. According to Government of India, Indian pharmaceutical sector is at which rank globally? That is a question in front of you. Normally we call ourselves as the pharmacy of the world. Pharmacy of the world ये टैग हमने अपने आप को दिया हुआ है, तो वो भी एक फैक्टर हमारे लिए इंपॉर्टेंट रहेगा. जी आंसर ऑफ दिस क्वेश्चन इज थर्ड. सो अगर ग्लोबली बात की जाए, सो वी आर एट द थर्ड रैंक व्हेन इट कम्स टू द वॉल्यूम की बात करें तो हम थर्ड नंबर पे आते हैं. अगर वैल्यू की बात करें तो हम 14th नंबर पे आते हैं. ये भी एक फैक्टर हमारे एग्जाम के लिए बहुत जरूरी होगा. So value and volume, both the things are there. As per the volume, third number. As per the value, costing की अगर बात की जाए तो 14th रैंक इंडिया का यहां पे आता है. तो ये भी एक फैक्टर हमारे लिए जरूरी होगा. सो ये थे कुछ क्वेश्चंस, कुछ एमसीक्यूज और उसके ऊपर थोड़ा बहुत डिस्कशन. नाउ विल गो टुवर्ड्स द न्यूज़पेपर आर्टिकल, सम इंपॉर्टेंट न्यूज from the today's newspaper for our exam point of view. So I'll start with that. The first news is about RBI's report sees signs of economic recovery in quarter 3. So RBI bulletin is being presented. So RBI the discussion on the RBI bulletin will be separately conducted by they are going to conduct for you. I am just going to give some important highlighted points over here. Now, according to RBI bulletin, the economic recovery in the quarter 3, because quarter 2 was not that good for our country. Quarter 2 was very disappointing and many bad things happened after the quarter 2 results. Now quarter 3 is right now showing a positive growth. So we can see over here. So अभी तक अगर देखा जाए तो quarter 3 में काफी अच्छे रिपोर्ट्स यहाँ पे देखने को मिल रहे हैं. अगर जीडीपी ग्रोथ की बात करें when it comes to the quarter 3, so we can see 6.8% is right now, which is going to get increased आने वाले समय में. Okay. Again in the financial year 26 we are having some positive ideas कि 7% से ज्यादा ही हमारा ग्रोथ यहाँ पे देखने को मिल सकता है. Even CPI inflation will be under control, will be less than 6%. That is a probability. So if we'll talk about quarter 3 of this financial year, quarter 4 of this financial year, it is less than 6%. Even in the next financial year, it is way less than it will be less than 4%. That are the chances mentioned by the RBI's bulletin. Even RBI net sold 9.2 billion in the October. The reason is to stabilize the Indian currency. हम जब भी डॉलर सेल करते, whenever we are selling the dollars, whenever we are selling the foreign currency, one of the main reason is that to stabilize the Indian rupee. Because when we are flushing dollars into the market, the rupee will be absorbed by the RBI. So demand of the rupee will get increased and the demand of the dollar will get decreased. So it will be helpful to stabilize the currency. That is important factor which is mentioned here. Okay, तो ये एक factor यहाँ पे रहेगा. Even NRI deposit increases. NRI deposit increased near about $12 billion का NRI deposit का inflow हुआ है. Even outward remittances under that is liberalized remittance scheme is 10.6%. Outward remittances means the people are going outside India, the people are going for the education, they are sending money to their loved ones. So 10.6% is the outward remittance under the liberalized remittance scheme that is also mentioned in the RBI bulletin. But net FDI, the speed of the net FDI slows. So net FDI is near about $2.2 billion. We were expecting more than that. We were expecting near about more than $3 billion, but थोड़ा सा slow हो गया है net FDI. Now in this situation, in this present economic situation, जैसे global festivals are going on, the global holidays are going on, a little bit lesser growth in the FDI, the lesser growth in the foreign investment is a very common, especially during this November-December time frame. We can expect that, but it can get increased in the coming months. That is also mentioned by the RBI in its bulletin. So these are the major factors. One of the major factor of this bulletin is about the growth in the quarter 3. It is already like 6.8% or more than that we are expecting. The the inflation will be 5.7% in the end of the quarter 3. That is the expectation of the RBI. Whereas quarter 4, the growth will be 6.5%, little bit lesser, but the inflation will be 4.9%. So more comfortable zone will be there. So these are the expectations of the RBI under this RBI bulletin. Let's hope, fingers crossed, that everything will be in line so that there won't be any kind of problems. We'll go to the next news, and the next news is about the NSO report. NSO, National Statistical Office, they gave the report regarding the unincorporated sectors. So we'll talk about the workers, we'll talk about the laborers, and the job creation is bit slow in 23-24. So some numbers been given by them. कुछ numbers हमारे पास है, and according to these numbers, establishment की अगर बात करें, I will directly talk about that. 73.4%, so growth 12.85%. वर्कर्स की अगर बात की जाए 10.04% का यहां पे ग्रोथ है. सो ग्रोथ थोड़ा स्लो हो गया. अगर एस्टैब्लिशमेंट्स की बात करें, एस्टैब्लिशमेंट काफी अच्छा इंक्रीज हुआ है 12.85%, बट द ग्रोथ व्हेन इट कम्स टू द एम्प्लॉयमेंट इट इज बीन लिटिल बिट स्लो. इट वाज 10.04%, अर्लियर इट वाज 11.95%. सो ग्रॉस वैल्यू की अगर बात करें तो ग्रॉस वैल्यू थोड़ी सी हमारी बेटर है. Now, seen is that the report is mentioning one thing which is really very important, which I want to tell you. According to NSO, in India, the different kind of institutions, companies, or the small MSMEs we created lots of MSMEs. We help lots of small industries to grow, but the job creation, the percent of job creation is not that good. The another report is there, and that report is saying in few sectors there is a job creation, but when it comes to salaries, when it comes to the wages, they are not up to the mark when it comes to the Indian economy in the last few months, in the last few, I will say, quarters, and that is mentioned by the NSO also. This report is focusing mostly on the unincorporated sectors. So surveys, the annual survey about the unincorporated sector, growth is there, no doubt about that, growth is there, but the speed of the growth it came down to 10.04. Earlier it was 11.95. So we were expecting more than 12% growth when it comes to the employment generation, but unfortunately growth थोड़ी सी कम हो गई है, but growth is there. That is another positive point. So let's hope for the next financial year that everything will go properly. Next calendar year we are hoping that things will be much better. Now, NFRA imposed 2 crore fine on the Deloitte over the Zeal audit. Now, so first of all, NFRA is a National Financial Reporting Authority. In 2018, we created that. It's a statutory body. By the Parliamentary Act, we created this authority, and Ajay Bhushan Pandey is the chairperson. Now, what is the job of NFRA? National Financial Reporting Authority, name itself suggesting many things. The auditing authority, basically. So whatever the audits are going on, those audits are proper or not, this authority is keeping watch on those things. Kind of a supervisory body created by the Indian law and keeping watch on the audit process in our country. Now, Zeal is the name of the institution जिसका auditing हुआ, and we found that there are some misappropriated funds, there are some wrong auditing processes done, there are some frauds, but Deloitte, who audited this institution, they didn't talk about that. There are so many frauds, there are so many red flags when it comes to this authority. इनका ऑडिट इन्होंने किया था, थर्ड पार्टी ने इनका ऑडिट किया था, बट उस ऑडिट में कोई भी रेड फ्लैग्स रेज नहीं किए गए. ऑडिट वाज वेरी स्मूथ. जब और ऑडिटिंग हुई, देन दे फाउंड दैट देयर आर सो मेनी loopholes, so many lacunas, and that's why NFRA imposed fine on Deloitte of 2 crore because their auditing process was not good. For so many times, there are so many complaints that bigger auditing institutions, they are taking money and giving the fake audit reports. They're very common in our country, and that's why this authority is being created in 2018, and this authority is playing a role of a supervisory body to keep watch on all auditing firms, their techniques, their reports, so that there should not be any kind of fraud. अगर auditing report ही fake बनाएंगे, auditing report ही गलत बनाएंगे, तो of course आपके फाइनेंशियल स्टेटस की जानकारी मार्केट को नहीं पता चलेगी, और जिससे फ्रॉड होने के चांसेस काफी ज्यादा होते. तो ये भी एक फैक्टर यहां पे रहेगा. ठीक है. This is not the place where you can talk about that. You can connect with the team for the mentorship session. के mentorship session होते हैं हमारे, के हमेशा होते हैं. टाइमिंग में थोड़ी गड़बड़ हो गई थी. टीम will definitely give you the रिपोर्ट अबाउट दैट. अगर टीम ने नहीं दिया तो मैं पर्सनल लेवल पे आपसे कनेक्ट करूंगा. These are the current affairs sessions. Maintain the dignity of the sessions. Okay, discuss about that. For mentorship, you have the paid batch. You can communicate with the team. If there is no response, I will personally connect with you people, okay, because we need to follow the process. If process is not able to give the response, then don't worry, faculties will connect with you personally, okay. And for every student, you are not the only student जिसको साथ ये हुआ है, बीच में थोड़ा सा issue आ गया था system के साथ, that's why some technical issues were there, which are now the team rectifying that, and you are going to get the answer of that, okay, remember that. Fine, I'll go to the next particular news, and this news, we discussed about this news anyways, that National Consumers Day we observed yesterday, and Government of India on the National Consumers Day launch 3 tools basically, and all these 3 tools are AI based tool. One of them is the Jagriti portal. We have the Jagriti portal, and the Jagriti portal created by the Government of India under the Consumer Affairs Ministry. Jagriti portal's job will be that what are the complaints are there, what are the awareness programs are there, they are going to keep watch on that. Another thing is that that is eMAP. eMAP is another portal which is very, very important. eMAP basically measurement tools for different kind of commodities, different kind of goods. We have different measurement tools to standardize them, to have a global standard. We have the eMAP concept, again launched by the Consumer Affairs Ministry. And another portal which is also AI based is a Jago Grahak Jago mobile application. We have Jago Grahak Jago portal. Now we created the mobile application also, so that the common people can directly file a complaint, give the feedback, and have some awareness from the Government of India. And these are the cases. 13 dark. Another thing which I want to talk about now, in the yesterday's National Consumers Day celebration, 13 dark pattern was discussed. What is dark pattern? There are some marketing gimmicks to sell the products. There are some marketing ways to sell the product, and those marketing ways become very fake sometimes. For example, they said that free trial रहेगा, but they are going to cut the money from your account. जब आप अपने account details डाल देते हो तो उसमें से पैसा ऑटोमेटिक कट हो जाता है, जबकि free trial आपको बोला गया था. Another thing is that giving the bad advertisement or taking your data and selling the data to someone else so that और वहां से marketing हो सके और उसके भरोसे पैसा कमाया जा सके. So 13 dark patterns for to safeguard the consumers were also discussed in yesterday's National Consumer Day celebration, and Government of India is going to take a strict action around those dark patterns of the marketing. Now, different e-commerce company also participated with the Government of India. Near about 13 big e-commerce company like Zomato, Swiggy, Amazon, Myntra, all those companies were also the part of this celebration with the Government of India. Prahlad Joshi sir is the Consumer Affairs Minister of India. We'll go to the next news, and the next news is business correspondents meet IRDI, seek consent to sell insurance products. Now, Business Correspondent Resource Council is the name of the authority. Business Correspondent Resource Council. Now, what is business correspondent? Business correspondent क्या होता है? This concept is useful for bank as well as for the insurance. Now, what is business correspondent in bank? Bank Sakhi, Bank Mitra. Or sometimes banks are not able to open their branches in the village areas, but they appoint some agent or some individual to handle the work for them, especially for the deposits, withdrawal of the money, as well as some other policies. Same way, insurance sector can also have this business correspondent, and for that purpose, there was the meeting with the IRDI. Now, there are some criteria because business correspondents are going to work, कुछ ना कुछ information insurance company से मिलेगी, उसके भरोसे वो काम करेंगे. So there should be some security, there should be some proper commission based system, and for that purpose there was a meeting with the Insurance Resource Council. One of the best example of business correspondent is this Bima Sakhi. LIC recently launched Bima Sakhi, launched by the Prime Minister of India, but this Bima Sakhi concept is only for the LIC. This Bima Sakhi is the best example of this business correspondent because they are not the full-time employees of the LIC, Life Insurance Corporation, but they are going to work on behalf of LIC to sell the insurance product, to create the awareness regarding the insurance product, and that is the concept. Okay. Under Bima Sakhi, basically, 18 to 70 years of age group can be the part of Bima Sakhi. Minimum education should be 10th pass. Now they are going to get the stipend like 7,000 rupees for first year, 7,000 rupees per month for first year, then 6,000 rupees for the second year and 5,000 rupees for the third year, in that way. So 3-year program launched recently by the LIC, not by the government of India, by the LIC, launched by Prime Minister of India, and this is the best example of the business correspondent. Might be this news is not that important for us, but this can give many questions in our exam, so थोड़ा सा यहाँ पे ध्यान रखिएगा. Now, Switzerland-based TIL to invest 20,000 crore in Vadhavan port project. We know India is going to create हमारे देश का सबसे बड़ा deep sea port, which we are going to create in Maharashtra. So already map is here in Maharashtra near Mumbai, or I will say between the Maharashtra and Gujarat border, there will be the port called as a Vadhavan port. This port will be the deep sea port, India's biggest deep sea port. So to develop that port, Switzerland-based TIL is going to invest 20,000 crore. So it's a classical example of FDI, foreign direct investment. Recently, Switzerland decided to cut the ties with India with respect to most favored nation. We talked about that. Most favored nation, ये decision cut कर दिया है Switzerland ने, because with Switzerland we are going to sign, or with European countries, with few European countries, with 4 European countries, we are going to sign the free trade agreement. That's why. But at the same time, Switzerland decided to invest a certain amount of money into our Vadhavan port project, which was recently like the foundation stone of this project was recently kept by the Prime Minister of India in this financial year itself. So that will be important factor. That's it from this news. It's a big news and everyone knows about that. The last news of the day, that is Honda Nissan to merge, and by 2026 the merger is going to be completed. That is mentioned by the these two authorities. So they are the Japanese companies. Nissan facing some problems in the last few years, and that's why they decided to merge with the Honda. So Nissan Honda together going to create one new entity. Under that entity, these two companies are going to work. Mitsubishi is also planning to be the part of this. So Mitsubishi Motors too likely to be the part of this group. But officially, right now, Nissan and Honda, these two big automobile creators, makers, are going to create a new company. And under that company, the Honda and Nissan individually will work. So they will work as a subsidiary, and the new company will be the mother company. And same for the Mitsubishi. Again, that will be enough for us. Obviously, there were many articles that what will be the impact of this merger on Indian market. So the impact is still unclear, because how they are going to perform their job, how they are going to work properly, that is yet to be clarified. Because Honda and Nissan individually mentioned that whatever the system we are following right now will be as it is. No changes is going to happen in the present system which is there. But after 2026, when the new mother company will be created, after that we don't know what is going to happen. So the impact of these mergers are still unclear on the Indian market, which is mentioned by the Automobile Association of India. Unka statement hai, if the Association of India, Automobile Association of India is giving such kind of statement, so we should rely on their statements. So remember that factor. Okay. चलो ये ध्यान में रखिएगा. We discuss about this. हमने इसके बारे में ऑलरेडी बात कर ली है. With MCQ we talked about this 500 million loan agreement with the ADB, Asian Development Bank. Track and trace mechanism, we also talked about that. Track and trace mechanism under GST Council was recently discussed. This mechanism was first time suggested by WHO, World Health Organization, especially focusing on the tobacco control, especially focusing on these tobacco products. So track and trace will be useful for those products जहां पे tax evasion बहुत ज्यादा होता है. Especially with cigarettes and the tobacco products, there is a huge tax evasion. So for that purpose, GST Council can work, and WHO's recommendation can be also useful to cut down the use of cigarettes and the tobacco products. So both the things can be there. Because there are so many tobacco and the cigarette companies or the BD companies, they are trying to avoid to pay the taxes. So there will be unique code and that unique code will be compulsory for every tobacco product in India. So through that unique code we can trace exactly who is consuming it and who is selling it, so the tax collection can be effective. That is the first thing under the GST Council. WHO is asking to create such kind of measures so that हम person to person awareness create कर सके by don't consume, because general awareness तो हम करते हैं कि don't consume tobacco, it is a dangerous thing, but अगर such kind of system track and trace system अगर बनती है तो हम individual base भी काम कर सकते हैं इसके consumption को रोकने के लिए. तो दोनों factors, economic as well as social factors, comes into this category called as a track and trace mechanism by the GST Council. Already European countries, already UK, Germany, these countries are already having such kind of system. Now Tata Power and Canara Bank offer a loan for the rooftop solar system. We already have Pradhan Mantri Surya Ghar Muft Bijli Yojana, and under that Yojana, Tata Power and Canara Bank are working together. Tata Power is basically going to provide the infrastructure for the rooftop solar panels, whereas Canara Bank is providing loan for that infrastructure. And Yojana, we all know, Yojana is a Pradhan Mantri Surya Ghar scheme which was launched in 2024. Now, under this agreement between the government of India's Canara Bank and the Tata Power, the agreement is that if someone wants to establish a 3 kilowatt rooftop solar system, then up to 2 lakh loan will be provided. 10 years the repayment period will be there, and 7% will be the rate of interest. If someone wants to implement the rooftop system between 3 kW to 10 kW, then they can provide 6 lakh loan up to 6 lakhs with 20% margin and collateral, no collateral, and 10% annual rate of interest. So collateral will not be there. Collateral will not be there. It will be helpful to complete the प्रायोरिटी सेक्टर लेंडिंग क्राइटेरिया, वो भी पूरा करने के लिए हेल्प करेगा, बिकॉज रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी इज अ पार्ट ऑफ प्रायोरिटी सेक्टर लेंडिंग. सो कैनरा बैंक कैन कंप्लीट दैट. Tata Power will get the more and more customers, and Government of India can fulfill the policy which they have created or launched in 2024. Right now, Gujarat is the best performing state when it comes to PM Surya Ghar scheme regarding rooftop implementation. Second is Maharashtra. Third is Uttar Pradesh. This is the news which we already talked about regarding the MFN status removed by the Switzerland, because 4 countries, that is Iceland, Liechtenstein, Norway and the Switzerland, these 4 countries are going to sign the agreement called as a Trade and Economic Partnership Agreement with India. These 4 countries together called as the EFTA countries, and these EFTA country, they are going to sign this agreement with India, and that's why it is being in news. तो थोड़ा सा यहाँ पे हमें ध्यान रखना पड़ेगा, इसलिए जो मोस्ट फेवर्ड नेशन है वो कैंसिल किया गया. We discussed about most favored nation. Under most favored nation हमें प्रायोरिटी नहीं मिलती, हमें सबके साथ इक्वली ट्रीट किया जाएगा. तो जो भी बाकी ट्रेडिंग पार्टनर्स है स्विट्जरलैंड के, बस उसी की तरह इंडिया को भी ट्रीट करेंगे. प्रायोरिटी जो दी जाती है वो आपकी अलग एग्रीमेंट के अंदर दी जाएगी. यहां पे प्रायोरिटी वाला कंसेप्ट नहीं होता है, यहां पे सबको इक्वली ट्रीट करने की बात की जाती है. तो उस एंगल से हमें हटा दिया है. ओके, नाउ फाइनेंशियल इंटेलिजेंस यूनिट किस तरीके से परफॉर्म किया उसका डेटा डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ रेवेन्यू ने दिया हुआ है. सो डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ रेवेन्यू ने ईयर एंड एक रिव्यू दिया हुआ है. उसमें एग्जैक्टली फाइनेंशियल इंटेलिजेंस यूनिट जो गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया के अंडर काम करता है, उन्होंने कितने एक्शंस लिए. Financial intelligence unit basically is working on if there is a bad practice going on, some black money cases are there, or some kind of fraud or the corruptions or the money laundering activities are there. So उनके ऊपर एक्शन लेने के लिए ये काम करते हैं. तो फाइनेंशियल सेक्शन एंड द लॉ इन्फोर्समेंट एजेंसी के तौर पे ये काम करता है अंडर फाइनेंस मिनिस्ट्री. सो उन्होंने कितने एक्शंस लिए वो डेटा लिखा हुआ है. दिस डेटा इज नॉट यूजफुल फॉर द एग्जाम राइट नाउ. अभी इसके तरफ ध्यान मत दीजिए, जस्ट मैंने इसको इसलिए डाला बिकॉज गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया गिव द ईयर एंड रिव्यू कि उन्होंने क्या क्या किया है. द अनदर थिंग इज दैट FATF फाइनेंशियल एक्शन टास्क फोर्स हेडक्वार्टर इज इन पेरिस, फ्रांस में इसका हेडक्वार्टर है. FATF ने इंडिया को हाईएस्ट कैटेगरी दैट इज कॉल्ड एज अ रेगुलर फॉलोअप के अंदर इंक्लूड किया है. दैट इज अ अचीवमेंट इन द लास्ट ईयर, मींस 2024 का ये हमारा अचीवमेंट रहा है. एंड दैट्स व्हाई ये एक पॉइंट हमारे लिए जरूरी होगा FATF के अंदर. फाइनेंशियल एक्शन टास्क फोर्स मनी लॉन्ड्रिंग, टेररिस्ट फाइनेंसिंग या फिर मास डिस्ट्रक्शन के वेपन्स के अगेंस्ट FATF थोड़ा एक्शन लेता है कि वहां पे पैसा खर्च ना हो. दे हैव द ब्लैक लिस्ट, दे हैव द ग्रे लिस्ट. के इंडिया इज नॉट ऑब्वियसली इन एनी ऑफ दिस लिस्ट. इंडिया हाईएस्ट कैटेगरी के अंदर आता है. रेगुलर फॉलोअप, तो ये भी एक फैक्टर यहां पे मेंशन किया गया है. देन CBDC, सेंट्रल बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्ट टैक्सेस, CBDT, Central Board of Direct Taxes, they talked about refund of 3.08 lakh crore issued from the 1st of April 24 to 27th of November. So refund issued. So tax payments होते हैं, इनकम टैक्स रिटर्न्स की बात होती है, तो उसी के बारे में डेटा मेंशन किया गया है. That's it. So basically they updated their information how exactly they perform in the last or this financial year. That's all from this particular news. Recently, the few governors being transferred, new governors being appointed in total 5 states, which I have already discussed at our 6 AM session. तो एक बार उससे भी आप go through कर लीजिएगा, जो आपके एग्जाम के लिए जरूरी बन जाएगा. ठीक है, चलो. So that's all from my side for the day. We'll see you in the next session. I will send you the notes. And another thing, from the next week, every day there will be a session. This session will be every day. So 9 to 9:30 or 9 to 9:25, we are going to conduct session every day from the next week. In this session, we are mostly focusing on the important news articles, important news, the bits focusing especially on the phase 1 as well as for the interview purposes. That will be the major focus, because the other like PIB, the detailed PIB section will be covered by the Manish sir. The detailed financial current affairs will be covered by the Madhav sir, and I am going to cover the other current affairs part will be on daily basis from the next week. So remember that. Okay, that's all guys from my side for the day. We'll see you in the next session. Bye bye. Take care.